Two guns, one held by a soldier far from home, the other lying undisturbed in the safe of a private residence. On the surface, they appear to be identical. Black steel bodies, extended magazines, the same keen, foreboding outline. But are they indeed identical? Or is there some ulterior difference, one that makes all the difference? Today, we strip away the myths, distinguishing fact from fiction, rumor from reality. This is the military versus civilian firearms story, a history etched in steel, written through time, and defended by law. Every time a gun appears on the night news, the same question always seems to arise. Is that the same type of gun warfighters carry into combat? Some claim it is. Others claim it's completely different. The reality is in the details. Details that show how alike these weapons can be, yet how profoundly different they really are. To determine this, we need to take a trip through time. From the muskets of the old battlefields to the rifles of current armies and the living rooms of ordinary people. During the 1700s, the musket dominated the battlefield and homestead alike. The firearm a soldier took to war was the same one a farmer used to protect his home or provide for his family. Flintlocks, smoothbores, and eventually percussion rifles. They were all-purpose instruments of survival. There was no dichotomy then. A farmer's musket was a soldier's musket. A cavalry revolver was the same Colt revolver lying in the holster of a sheriff. But history was about to change. By the 20th century, firearms no longer evolved just for hunting or defense. They evolved for warfare, for speed, volume, and overwhelming force. And when that shift happened, governments began to ask, should civilians really have the same firepower as the military? Behind each legendary firearm is a mind, an inventor, an engineer, a creator who changed history. Mikhail Kalashnikov, a Soviet tank mechanic in his early 20s, invented the AK-47 in 1947. Simple, durable, and almost unbreakable, it is the most manufactured rifle in human history, a symbol of revolutions and wars. In 1956, Eugene Stoner, an American engineer, revealed the AR-15, a light, revolutionary rifle that would soon gain the interest of the U.S. military. By 1964, Stoner's AR-15 had been adopted and adapted into the M16, the gun that would come to symbolize America's involvement in the Vietnam War. During the 1990s, the American military unveiled the M4 carbine, a compact, multi-purpose variant of the M16 for the close-quarter combat of the new war. Every one of these firearms had genetic material from civilian guns, but everyone was conceived for a different purpose, some for troops, others for citizens. To the naked eye, the M16 and the AR-15 are nearly indistinguishable. Black stock, removable clips, adjustable stocks. Place them side by side and you might assume they're identical firearms. But looks can be deceiving. What sets them apart is a minor but essential mechanism, the fire selector. The civilian AR-15 is semi-automatic only, one shot per one trigger pull. The military version of the M16 is able to shoot in 3-round bursts or fully automatic. A hail of bullets released by a single trigger pull. That one difference makes all the difference, and yet it has sparked decades of mystery, terror, and blistering controversy. But wait, if the AR-15 is only capable of semi-auto, is it weaker than the M16 or M4? The answer is no. Both of these rifles shoot the 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO cartridge. Indeed, many civilians shoot its twin, the .223 Remington. How fast the bullet, the range, and the accuracy? Practically the same. So it isn't the bullet, it isn't the barrel, it isn't steel. The difference is speed, how quickly those bullets can be fired. Listen closely. 1, 2, 3. That's the beat of a semi-automatic AR-15, but change to an M16 full automatic and the beat vanishes, replaced by a roar, a storm of sustained fire. And that is why armies favor automatic rifles. Amidst the turmoil of combat, subduing foes demands quantity, not restraint. For civilians, however, the law has set limits: one trigger, one bullet. But how did this line originate? The origin lies in decades of law. In the United States, it was the National Firearms Act of 1934 that first made automatic guns subject to regulation, following the era of the gangster Tommy gun. By 1986, the Firearm Owners Protection Act put a freeze on the manufacture of new privately owned machine guns. Some older ones are still out there, but they're rare, costly, and strictly regulated. Around the world, the rules differ. In Australia and the United Kingdom, civilian ownership of anything resembling a military rifle is nearly impossible. In Switzerland and Finland, by contrast, firearms are part of tradition. Even military-style rifles may be kept by reservists at home. Every nation draws the line differently, but the question is always the same. How much firepower should ordinary people have? It's easy to assume military rifles are more lethal due to their caliber or size. But here's the reality. Civilian rifles can be equally deadly. A high-powered hunting rifle has the capability to shoot a bullet much more potent than a soldier's M4. So the actual difference isn't in brute power, it's design and purpose. The M16 and M4 were designed for shoot-and-move combat. The AR-15, though aesthetically similar, is legally required to stay semi-automatic, regardless of how military it looks. So why, then, do rifles used by the public look so similar to military ones? Some of the reason is marketing. The makers understand the military look, the blacked-out finish, the attachment rails, the removable magazines, has a certain appeal. It looks rugged. It looks professional. To some, it looks like a piece of history, but under the hood, they are civilian-compliant guns. But what does the collision of these two worlds look like? When military design falls into the hands of civilians, the argument erupts. Very occasionally, criminals have illegally converted semi-automatic rifles to fire automatically. The change can be minor, a filed piece, a conversion kit, but the effect is huge. This is why civilian rifles of military design are so controversial. They erase the boundary between war and home. Aside from mechanics and legislation, guns are cultural icons. The AK-47, created by Kalashnikov in 1947, became the emblem of revolutions, appearing on flags and propaganda materials. The M16, approved in 1964, symbolized American military might. And the AR-15 civilian gun has become one of the most controversial rifles in U.S. history. To some, it symbolizes freedom, sport, and protection. To others, it symbolizes tragedy and danger. The firearm itself hasn't altered, but the perception people have about it has. Myth 1. All AR-15s are machine guns. Not true. Stoner's initial AR-15 for the civilian market was always semi-automatic. Myth 2. The AK-47 is unstoppable everywhere. The reality is that most civilian AK-style rifles are semi-auto only, without military firing modes. Myth 3. Civilians can't manage high-power rifles. History proves otherwise. Hunters and sport shooters commonly employ firearms much more powerful than military rifles, if less fast. Myth 4. Military rifles employ special secret ammunition. No, civilians may buy almost identical rounds, the same 7.62 by 39 mm for the AK, the same .223/5.56 for the AR. So, what is the actual difference between military and civilian firearms? It's not the bullet, it's not the steel, it's not even the inventor, Kalashnikov in 1947, or Stoner in 1956. The real difference is a decision scripted in law, penned in policy, and chiseled into the fire selector switch. A soldier's rifle is built for war, automatic fire, suppression, overwhelming power. A civilian rifle is committed to semi-auto, for sport shooting, hunting, defense. Two tools, two worlds, two fates, divided by one squeeze of the trigger. But as technology advances, as new designs are conceived, And as the law is tested, the line between battlefield and backyard narrows with each succeeding decade. The Kalashnikov and Stoner rifles, made over a half-century ago, continue to dominate the debate, continue to polarize opinion, and continue to define our world today. This is the tale of guns, where the distinction between war and peace lies on the flip of a single switch,